Session 10, we're working on some more press to handstands today. Go through a thorough warm-up first, head to toe, get those wrists, get the body moving, get it warm. Make sure you spend time working on the pike and the straddle, opening up those positions because we know how critical they are for the press to handstand work. We're gonna do some balance work first, and then we're gonna strengthen the muscles that we need for the press to handstand. So like we did in the last practice, in session 9, we want to spend time practicing our balance first. In between these sets, we also want to do some preparatory stuff that's going to help our handstand that we're practicing and also prepare us for the press work that we're about to do. So you have to be smart in knowing where should you be spending your time. If we're going into a handstand shape and we're noticing that the core is the issue, we should spend time working on the core in between the handstands. If we know that the shoulders are the issue, we should spend time working on the shoulders between the handstands. If we know that when we get to press that our pike is going to be the problem, then we're going to spend some time working on the pike. So what you're going to do today is we're going to work on 1 minute of freestanding balance total. Do as many sets as you need to get there. This could be a partial off the wall. This could be a straight kick to handstand on the floor. We want to accumulate 1 minute total. In between every single set of handstands that you're doing, we're going to do some accessory work that's either going to help the handstand or that's going to get us ready for the press. I'm going to give you guys one drill that we can work on today that's going to help enforcing a better line. For this one, we need our dowel. And all we're going to do with the dowel is we're going to use the floor as a guide to make sure that we're in a straight position. We're going to go ahead and lay on the back. Now, we worked on some hollow leg lifts in the past where we're practicing keeping that low back on the ground and seeing if we could lower the feet all the way to the floor. For today, very similar, we're gonna work on maintaining that position, but we're gonna add the shoulder component into this one. So we're gonna start by legs on the ground, setting the shape with the body, pulling the ribs in, making sure that back is stuck to the floor, bum tight, legs tight, toes pointed. And then I'm gonna take the bar and I'm gonna lift it above my head. How far can I go before I start to lose position in the body? So at no point do we want an arch to develop in the back. Our job is to keep our ribs pulled in, keep that back stuck to the floor, maintain that position, and then lift the bar. Can you get your wrists to touch the floor? Can you get your forearms to touch the floor? Can we achieve a perfectly straight line without losing the shape in the back? Feel free to try that one in between. Hollow leg lifts are also going to be another great idea. This one's just fantastic because you get the shoulders and you get the body, and it simulates a perfectly straight line while you're laying on the floor. Once you guys have done a minute total of balance with some accessory work in between, we're going to jump into the press work. All right, for the press, we're focusing on increasing the strength that we need to be able to get into a press to handstand position. So we're going to work on a pike walk on the floor where we're maintaining that open shoulder position and also practicing pulling the legs in. So what this is going to look like is we're going to start with the feet on the floor, hands in front. We're going to open the shoulders up all the way. We're going to lift the feet off the floor and then simply bring them in closer into our hands. So it's emphasizing that we're keeping the legs close to the body. So we're going hands down, a little bit further away from the feet today. We're going to lift up, hips up nice and high, float the feet, and bring them in. Walk the hands forward, float, put the feet in. Nice and slow, we're not hopping. We're trying to make the feet lift up and come in. We want to think about lifting our hips as high as we can and then squeezing the core to try to bring those legs in to the stomach. We're going to do anywhere from 3 to 5 sets of 1 to 5 reps. If you're able to achieve a 5x5, that's a fantastic standard for mastery and for strength in these positions. But anywhere, 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps. In between, feel free to do some stretching to open up those legs a little bit more. If you want to play with some variation on this one, we can also work on a straddle position after we lift off the floor. On this one, the hands are going to stay in place, but the shape of the legs is going to change now. So the setup is the same. We're going hands down. This time I'm going to start with my feet closer to the hands. We're going to lift, open the legs, bring them together without kicking them backwards. Hands are down, shoulders are strong, lift, open, and back. And I would go again. Remember, the goal on that one is to simply pull the legs apart. If you want to make sure that you're doing this one correctly, go back towards the wall, lift, and practice the same thing to make sure you're not kicking behind you. All right, now for the challenge, we're gonna be using the wall, and when we're working on a press to handstand, you'll see a lot of people, they'll go towards the wall, they'll put their hands down, they'll lean the shoulders into the wall, and they'll use the wall's support to be able to press up to the handstand. Don't do that. It's not gonna teach you how to keep your shoulders open. It's gonna teach you to lean forwards from the shoulders, which is what we don't want to do. There is some benefit for learning how to move the feet and circle the feet up into the handstand position. But aside from that, it's a completely useless exercise, and it's gonna take you backwards from working on the press. So if we do wanna do it, we always wanna face belly towards the wall, not back towards the wall, just like the handstand as well. We talked about that before. When you kick up the handstand, it teaches you to kick past handstand. Don't do that either. So with this one, we're gonna go belly towards the wall, and we wanna see from a straddle position, how far down the wall can we get and still press up into a handstand position. Once we're able to get the hands to about shoulder height, then we can start using something off of the wall, like a box or a couch or something lower to put your feet against. So for the press today, what we're gonna do, I have to be a little careful on this one. In a handstand position, this one, your hands are gonna move to different positions. We're gonna keep those shoulders tall. We're gonna open the legs up into a straddle position. Once we're here, I wanna lean my hips until I feel the weight in my hands. You can see my feet are not touching the wall anymore. Once I'm here, I simply bring the feet up into a handstand, and then I circle them back onto the wall. So you can try to move your feet into different positions, whether it's higher or lower against the wall, to see if you can pull them up into the handstand. You can also practice this in a pike, where the closer the hands are, the less we have to pull into the handstand. And the further we walk the hands away, the further down the feet are gonna get to be able to pull up into the handstand. So play with that one, see how low you can get your feet, and work on just the top portion of the press where you're pulling up into the handstand position. Nice and short, nice and sweet today, guys. If I could give one piece of advice, it would to be really practice the bottom part of the press to handstand, where you're lifting into the pike or lifting into the straddle and getting comfortable keeping your hips stacked over top of your hands and keeping the legs nice and close to the body. If you can develop that strength there, the press to handstand is gonna be no problem, but we have to spend a lot of time strengthening that position so that we're ready to actually do the rest of the press work. If we don't have the stability in the shoulders there, if we find as soon as we lift, we start breaking that shoulder angle and we start leaning forward with the shoulders, it's gonna continue to happen in the press. We're gonna need to develop even more strength because we're planching and we're not being efficient with the movement. So spend a lot of time practicing just lifting the feet off the ground and holding that position, doing reps there. You can hold it, you can hold in a straddle, but get comfortable there, get strong there, and it's gonna make the press to handstand much easier. And you can pair that with some of the partial stuff against the wall where you're doing just the top part of the press to practice what it feels like to get into a handstand while pressing with control and moving the legs with control. So that's everything for today, guys. Tag me in your work on Instagram, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when these videos are coming out, and I'll see you guys all on Friday for the last session of press work.